The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just heard, which are numbers that come directly from ICE. That's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Right now, under the Biden administration, there are 13 criminal aliens who were confronted, caught, captured, processed, whatever you want to say, at the border, and then released into the interior of the country, who already had a conviction for deleting somebody. I ain't talking about, oh, well, it happened when they got in the U.S. No. You see, when they were processed and they give their name and they give any kind of documentation they have and they get looked up, oh, you have this on your jacket, that on your jacket, 13,000 of them just loose with no actual citizenship. They just illegal alien, asylum seeker, whatever the case may be. There's also 15,000 of these criminal migrants who have X offenses, SEX offenses. Okay. So 13,000 people that have deleted somebody and got convicted, locked up, 15,000 with some kind of X offender charge on their jacket, for a grand total of 425,000 convicted criminal migrants. If you add in the people who have pending deletion charges, it's 2,000 of them, by the way. If you combine everybody convicted and pending, 600,000 criminal aliens just loose in the country. And that number is just those who were captured. How about the gotaways? How about everybody else who just got into the country some kind of way illegally, who were not processed at the border? How many of them are out there? Because we got gangs all over the country that come from south of the border. So how many of these people were processed at the border and how many came in through some kind of back door? I'm just asking. And before I go any further, let's get to an actual news clip. Of course, I will link to everything in the box, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States. The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here, and this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Malugin. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon. Bill, the details of this news, what do you have?
Now, before Doug gets started, I was told that the migrants are just the fruit pickers and bed makers. Remember, Barack Obama famously said that on television? But now we have serious criminal migrants all over the place. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but I digress.
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered, deported from the country by a judge, but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that number, over 13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now. On top of that, there are another 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's non-detained docket. It doesn't stop there. Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under 1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges. who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be glazing over right now with all the numbers we just threw at you. Just to put it in a nutshell, right?
Before he gets to how he wants to really bring it on home, I just want to say one thing. These numbers could seem small in the greater scheme of things. Oh, it's only this many thousand. When New York City has this many million people in the city. The problem is that a lot of these migrants are being sent to certain places. They're clustering up. You have hundreds, if not thousands of them that get dumped in one small space. Prime example with Springfield, Ohio. 55,000 or so residents who were native to the place, who were not these new batch of migrants. And then 55,000 people, you put 20,000 Haitians in that one town. That is and they're concentrated in one place. That's part of the problem. So out of the 20,000, what are the chances that you get a couple of the leaders and people that just do not want to cooperate in society properly? People that were cast away by their own country because they didn't want to deal with them. Give them to the Americans. They'll do something with them. They'll probably give them some kind of welfare or something like this. That's a thought process behind some of these countries. And it's our fault for letting the border be open. When I say our fault, I mean the USA under the current administration. But let's continue.
Right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault. And there are even more who are facing charges for homicide and charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But
now, when he says non-detained docket, that's the docket of people who have been processed and released. Out of that 8 million, you got the 425 convicted criminal aliens, 600,000 who have been convicted and or have pending charges.
Looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket who are either convicted, 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crimes. 222,000 are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about.
So there we go. There we have it. This is from the current, I believe, acting ICE director under the Biden administration. This is not some kind of, some kind of MAGA extremist talking point. This is from the government in office right now. This is from the Democrats. They're saying this. Okay, maybe somebody asked for the information and the information was given. We have this many people just roaming the streets. And I know a lot of you guys have sent me letters, sent me emails saying, hey, man, it's really bad in this particular town. It's bad in this town. It's bad in this city. It's bad in this part of the country where all the migrants just congregate and do whatever they want to do. Ultimately, as I close, as I always say, the responsibility of the border is the federal government. When states try to intervene to protect their own borders, Texas, for a prime example, they often get interfered with by the federal government. The government comes in and sues them, tries to block them because they had some concertina wire, razor wire. They had some of that down on the border. Texas did. I think the National Guard put it out. And here comes the Biden administration trying to sue them, talking about it's inhumane, all this, that, and the third. So the government are the ones who are allowing the border to be open. They're the ones allowing this influx of people to come in. Look, I'm going to just say this as I close and wrap it on up, put the bow on top. I'm not against immigrants. I'm not against immigration. But I think there's a responsible and sensible way to do things. Not just flood people with new people who don't know anything about the particular area, and the people that are already right there, the existing American citizen, got to suffer all because why? A company wants to make money to save a couple of dollars. How is it going to help us if the company saves a little bit of money by importing the people who are going to make our lives more miserable? You only want to hire them. You don't want to hire Americans. They're going to commit crime. They got violence going on. They're not speaking the language. It's just a burden that a lot of these companies and the federales place on us, because it's us that got to talk to them every day in the community. It's us that have businesses where they are going to be shopping. It's us that got to teach their children who don't speak no English at all. It's us that got to try to figure out a way to parlez-vous français or hablo español. It's just really a mess. And like I say, always, if you want this kind of stuff to change, please, 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 you got to vote right. Vote Trump. Do not vote for the people who want this kind of policy to continue, meaning don't vote for Kamala and Tim Walz. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? 600,000 criminal and or soon to be criminal, potentially criminal aliens, 425,000 convicted criminal aliens who had a conviction when they came to the border, when they got processed, 13,000 deleters, 15,000 ex-offenders. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Look, I'm not against immigrants. I'm not against immigration. Shout out to my legal immigrant homies. Shout out to my non-criminal people that are coming here, first generation, whatever the case may be. However, this new batch, just to try and create a brand new class of low-class people and to wash away existing Americans who are making lives more difficult, raising the taxes, it's just, I don't get it. I don't like it. And again, all that I do know is who's responsible. The federal government. So I'm going to vote the other way in November, as I always do. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.